What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to The Order. The First Descendant is a game that's been on my radar for a while now because I'm an absolute degenerate when it comes to looter shooters. I've put countless hours into the Borderlands franchise, Destiny, Warframe, Outriders, you name it. I think the thing I love most about looter shooters is that they really appeal to both sides of your gaming brain. They're fast-paced and kinetic enough to satisfy that action itch, while also appealing to the math-heavy, min-maxing RPG side. For a lot of people, myself included, they're the perfect kind of chill-out game. The kind of game you can play while listening to a podcast or watching something else while you vibe and mow down enemies. With its open beta coming to an end, it's time to talk about the First Descendant, the next in a long line of FPS RPGs hoping to capture the masses. This time from the good folks at Nexon, which... yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. The First Descendant operates a lot like Warframe in the recently released Wayfinder. Choose from a variety of classes or descendants, each with a unique set of skills and passive abilities. You'll then travel to a variety of zones, completing simple missions, all while leveling up your descendants, earning new guns, new gear, new modules, etc. There's also a social hub you'll hang out in between missions, where you'll talk to vendors, check your mail, purchase and craft upgrades, and more. As far as the gameplay is concerned, this is where the First Descendant really shines most. Built off Unreal Engine 5, the gunplay and overall feel of the action is superbly crisp. Each gun feels perfectly crunchy and responsive, and shredding enemies in this game is wildly satisfying and honestly really hypnotic, which in a game where 95% of your time is spent shooting things is a huge win in my book. Each character also comes with 4 unique abilities to deploy. I primarily played as Lepic during the beta, who's got a fun mechanic of flinging grenades and traction grenades, and an ultimate ability that allows him to go full Mega Man and fire off solar blasts that linger in the area. I also tried out Freyna, a 10 out of 10 waifu who fires off a variety of poison darts and bombs, doing heavy damage over time. Again, the abilities feel perfectly impactful and look great to use, and the game overall looks nice with clean frame rates and excellent particle effects. With that being said, let's talk about what doesn't work in this game, which is just about everything else. While the gunplay feels good, ammo scarcity is a weirdly common problem, especially with your basic weapons, leading to many instances of running around the map scrambling to find an ammo drop you may have missed. The grappling hook, the game's big mobility feature, is wildly inconsistent and temperamental. Calling the missions in this game bland would be a disservice to things that are bland. Most missions involve interacting with computers, standing in a circle, hacking terminals, protecting terminals from being hacked, and so on and so forth, all while clearing out enemies around those terminals that are being hacked or not hacked. While it remains to be seen if later zones inject some variety into the mix, seeing as how just the first 3 zones were available in the beta, the mission design leaves so much to be desired. And with the areas around those missions being largely sterile, static settings, it leaves the whole experience feeling largely boring. Speaking of which, the zones themselves are completely devoid of life. Unlike, say, the planets in Destiny 2, which have enemies littered throughout each zone, dynamic public events, and fellow players zipping around, if you're not actively on a mission in the First Descendant, you will see literally nothing. Like, no enemies, no enemy patrols, no events, nothing. It leaves the game feeling incredibly lifeless. Which is a general problem with the First Descendant. It's hard to shake the feeling that you're running around a soulless sci-fi universe that's been cooked up by an algorithm that was fed the keywords futuristic shooter. The characters have some smidgen of personality, but they're in service to a story, yes, there's a story, and presentation that feels distinctly artificial. This just isn't the kind of game that draws you into its world in a real, gripping way. While it's weird to complain about loot in a looter game, there's just way too much of it here. 1 or 2 missions in and your inventory is already overflowing with guns and modules that don't really differ from one another, which means constantly dismantling and junking your pockets. The game just feels really shallow, a surface level looter shooter shooter experience that really lacks its own distinct personality that separates it from its peers. And this is all before we get into the single biggest problem with this game, a problem that, while not an issue in the open beta, is going to be one when it launches. This game's monetization is going to be gross. Nexon has made a name for itself in the microtransaction game, and given that the First Descendant will launch as a free-to-play game, you can see all the hallmarks of a game that is designed to drain your wallet. Multiple currencies, a million different crafting and upgrade materials that require other upgrade materials to upgrade. Crafting a character also comes with a time gate of 12 hours, which, you guessed it, can be bypassed with a currency that undoubtedly will be sold. This is all scary stuff, and again feeds into the overall sense of a game that was built from the ground up with the mentality of how do we squeeze every single potential penny out of the player base first, gameplay and world building a distant second. Look, this may all sound harsh, but it's just incredibly frustrating. There's genuinely decent gameplay here, but it's hidden within a package that I can't see attracting too many players long term due to its unimaginative world, mission design, and wildly problematic economy. There's just not enough here to separate itself from its peers. I'll probably check back in when the game launches because, again, degenerate, but unless there's some major shakeups to the overall experience come launch, I don't see this being a title that stands toe-to-toe with the current pillars of the looter shooter genre. Have you played the First Descendant? What did you think of the beta, and do you see yourself playing the game at launch? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful or insightful at all, be sure to hit it with a like and subscribe to the channel for more gaming coverage and insight. Until next time, have a good one.